So we have recorded the transaction in the book of original entry, which is called as journal. After that, we have to classify those transactions. Now one who maintains the bookkeeping is called as bookkeeper. So here the work of an accountant is much more than that of a bookkeeper. The main intention of accounting information will be fulfilled only when it is communicated to the interested users. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. My dear students, today we are in the fourth session of Unit 1 of the subject Financial Accounting 1, and this is for first sem BCom students, and the Unit 1 is all about Introduction to Financial Accounting. So let us quickly begin the session. Let us quickly recall what we have discussed in a previous session. So in a previous session, I have covered this topic, that is we have discussed about advantages of accounting as well as disadvantages of accounting. So in today's session, we shall continue with a new concept, that is bookkeeping, accounting as well as accountancy. So these three are different terms where we are going to learn the meaning today. So let us see what is this bookkeeping, accounting as well as accountancy. Now coming to the first word, that is bookkeeping. So here there is a definition, that is according to R.N. Cartier, bookkeeping is a science and art of recording. So what it is a science as well as art of recording. Now why it is called as a science? Because it includes some theoretical aspect. So it is called as a body of knowledge. So bookkeeping is a body of knowledge, so it is called as a science. And why it is called as an art? Because it is the art of recording the transactions. That is recording the business transaction as and when it takes place in the business organization. So it is a science as well as art of recording correctly in the books of account. So where we are going to record? In the books of account, all those business transactions. So what we are going to record? Only the business transaction that result in the transfer of money as well as money's worth. Now, we are not going to record all the business transaction. We will record those transactions which have included or which are included with money or money's worth. Now, what do you mean by money? In the sense which can be measured in terms of money, and money's worth in the sense which has certain value and that can be measured in terms of money. Hope you are clear with the definition of bookkeeping. So what you have to remember, bookkeeping is a science because it contains some theoretical aspect or body of knowledge, and it is an art because we are going to record the business transaction that can be measured in terms of money or money's worth. So it is called as an art because we are going to record the transaction in the books of account. So it is called as bookkeeping. Hope you are clear about the definition of bookkeeping. Now coming to the other concept here, the maintenance of books of account includes the following 4 activities. Now let us see what are the activities that are included in bookkeeping. Now coming to the first one, identifying the transactions of financial nature from among us the various transactions. Now the first activity is that we have to identify the transaction. So there are many transactions that takes place daily in an organization. So before recording in the books of account, we have to identify those transactions that can be measured in terms of money. That is identifying the transaction which are of financial nature. Financial nature means what? Which can be measured in terms of money. And the second activity is that measuring the identified transaction in terms of money. So first we have identified the transaction that can be measured in terms of money or the financial transactions. Next, second is that measuring the identified transaction. So we have to measure that transaction. It's not just that it should be a financial transaction. It should be financial transaction. At the same time, those financial transaction has to be measured in terms of money. Next, the third one is recording the identified transaction in the books of original entry. So third step is that first we have identify the financial transaction. Next, we have seen through that whether it can be measured in terms of money or not. And the third one is recording of transaction. Now, we will start with recording of the business transaction in the books of account, which is known as book of original entry. So, it is also called as what? Journal. So, we will record those transaction. Next, fourth step is that we are going to classify the transaction. So, we have recorded the transaction. Okay. So, we have recorded the transaction in the book of original entry, which is called as journal. After that, we have to classify those transactions. So, depending upon their nature, we have to classify the transaction into individual accounts, which is called as what? Ledger. So, hope you are clear with all the activities that are included in the bookkeeping. So, the first one is identifying the financial transactions. Then, those financial transactions has to be measured in terms of money. Then, we'll start recording the transaction in the book of original entry, which is called as what? Journal. So, it is called as journal. So, after recording all the transaction in the journal, we have to classify those entries into individual accounts, which is called as ledger accounts. So, the bookkeeping function is a routine and clerical in nature. So, it is a day-to-day procedure where whenever the transaction have taken place, immediately we will record in the books of account. So, it is a routine as well as clerical in nature and can be performed by the persons having limited knowledge of accounting. Here, it's not that the person or the person who is going to record the transaction should be a qualified person. So, he should have some knowledge about accounting. So, that type of person can also record this bookkeeping. At present, this function is increasingly done by the computers. So, you know about the improvement in the technology where the computers are being used, where this process of bookkeeping is done by the computers mechanically. Okay, so these are all about bookkeeping. Now, coming to the accounting. So, let us see the next term, that is accounting. So, what is this accounting? So, in bookkeeping, we will just record the transaction and we will classify those transactions into individual accounts. Now, let us see what is this accounting. So, accounting starts where bookkeeping ends. So, where does bookkeeping ends? So, bookkeeping ends at classifying the transactions. So, it includes the following activity. That is, it is a continuation. So, accounting is a continuation of bookkeeping. Okay. So, in bookkeeping, we will classify the transaction into individual accounts and we will wind up. Whereas, accounting starts where bookkeeping ends. In the sense, after classifying the transaction, next all the procedure will be done in accounting. So, it includes following activities. So, the first one is summarizing. Now, what do I mean by summarizing? Summarizing the classified transaction in the form of profit and loss account as well as balance sheet. Now, whatever the classified transactions are there, so those transactions has to be simplified and it has to be presented in such a way that it has to be understandable to the users. So, in order to make the users understand, so what we have to do? We have to reduce the transaction and prepare profit and loss account as well as balance sheet, which we call it as financial statement. So, what is this financial statement? Financial statement is prepared at the end of the financial year, which includes trading profit and loss account as well as balance sheet, whereby we will come to know the net profit or net loss of the business as well as the financial position of the business. So, summarizing in the sense, after classification of the transaction, it should be simplified and it should be presented to the users in an understandable manner. And the next one is analyzing and interpreting. So, what do I mean by that? Analyzing and interpreting. After summarizing the transaction in the form of trading profit and loss account as well as balance sheet, so what we have to do? We have to interpret those transactions. That is, by keeping that, the user should be able to draw a meaningful conclusion. So, by seeing those financial statement, the user and even the organization has to take a proper decisions. So, that is analyzing and interpreting the summarized results. In other words, drawing the meaningful information from profit and loss account as well as balance sheet. By seeing this profit and loss account and the balance sheet, the organization will come to know the exact profit and loss as well as the financial position of the business. So thereby, it will be able for the organization as well as the users to take the meaningful decisions. So proper conclusions can be drawn by trading profit and loss account. So this is about accounting. And the next one is communicating. So after drawing meaningful communication, so the accounting information is ready where we have to communicate to the respective users. So it may be internal users or external users. So communicating the information to the interested parties. Now here the interested parties means what? Internal as well as external users of accounting information. So we are going to learn in detail about the internal as well as external users in the upcoming slides. Okay. So does an accountant's work goes beyond that of bookkeeper. Now one who maintains the bookkeeping is called as bookkeeper. So here the work of an accountant is much more than that of a bookkeeper. He should have a sufficient knowledge because he have to summarize, he have to analyze and he has to interpret the results. So he should have a proper knowledge of accounting. Who? That is accountant. However, in actual practice, the accounting process includes bookkeeping function. So, the accounting process includes bookkeeping function also because where the bookkeeping ends, there the accounting starts. Because on the basis of bookkeeping records, an accountant draws up periodically such financial statement as profit and loss account as well as balance sheet. So based on the result of bookkeeping itself, the accountant is going to prepare the financial statement, that is profit and loss account and balance sheet. In a small concern, the accountant performs the work of a bookkeeper also. Now for a small concern where the number of transactions is very less, in such cases, even the accountant will act as a bookkeeper. But in the large organization where the transactions are very huge, in such cases, a separate bookkeeper should be there and a separate accountant should be there because a single person cannot do the task. So here, for a small organization, accountant itself will be the bookkeeper, whereas for the big organization, bookkeeper and accountants are two different persons. So this is about accounting. Now coming to accountancy. Now let us see what is this accountancy. So it refers to a systematic knowledge of accounting concerned with the principles and techniques which are applied in accounting. Now what is this accounting? So it is a theoretical aspects or it is a body of knowledge which contains all the principles, rules and regulations to be followed while recording each and every transactions. So the theoretical aspect of accounting is called as accountancy. So it refers to a systematic knowledge of accounting. It contains all the theoretical aspects of accounting concerned with the principles and techniques which are applied in accounting. So it contains all the theoretical principles and concepts. So it tells us how to prepare the books of accounts, how to summarize the accounting information and how to communicate to the interested parties. So as I told you, it is a theoretical aspect where it tells about each and everything about accounting, where it tells that how to record the transaction, how to analyze the transaction, how to interpret the transaction and how to communicate the transactions to the interested users. So according to Kohler, accountancy refers to the entire body of theory and practice of accounting. So it is a full body of theory as well as practice of accounting. So that theoretical aspects of the body of knowledge of accounting is called as accountancy. So hope you are clear with the meaning of all the three terms: bookkeeping, accounting as well as accountancy. Now coming to the accounting, so we are going to learn about the financial accounting. So this unit is all related to financial accounting, that is introduction to financial accounting. So let us begin with this accounting term here. So accounting can therefore be defined as, through these definitions and explanations, we have understood that accounting can be defined as a process of identifying. So it identifies those transactions which can be measured or which is of financial character and which can be measured in terms of money. So it is a process of identifying, measuring, that is measuring in terms of money, recording. So we will record all those transactions that can be measured in terms of money, and communicating. So we have to communicate. It's not just that we have recorded the transaction, we have summarized the transaction and we have kept by ourselves. It has to be communicated to the interested users. So communicating the events of an organization to the interested users of such information. So those who are in need of accounting information, for them the accounting information has to be communicated. Then only the value of accounting information will be there, or else it is a waste. So in order to appreciate the exact nature of accounting, we must understand the following relevant aspects of the definition. Now coming to the first one, that is economic events. So what do you mean by economic events? So those economic or those events of an organization where get something in return. So here economic events where we get something written as profit, right? So economic events in the sense what? Those activity where there will be some return in the form of money. So in accounting we will record these economic events, and it includes identification, measurement, recording and communication. Already we have discussed about it. So we have to identify the financial character, then we have to measure in terms of money, then we have to record the transaction, and once the recorded transaction is summarized and interpreted, it has to be communicated to the users. Next, organization. Of course, there should be an organization where we have to prepare the financial statements. So there should be an organization. Next, interested users of information. Now, who are the interested users of the information? So we shall see that. Now coming to interested users of information. So here not just an organization who is interested to know about the financial result of the business. So there are number of parties, there are number of individuals who are eagerly waiting to know about the financial results of an organization, who is termed as interested users of organization. So accounting is a means by which necessary financial information about the business enterprise is communicated, and also called as a language of business. The main intention of accounting information will be fulfilled only when it is communicated to the interested users. Because it's not just that only the organization who is going to survive alone. So there are number of parties. So it may be the employees in the organization, or it may be the president of an organization, or it may be the managers of the organization, or it may be the customer, financial institutions, or the creditors. So these are number of parties who are eagerly waiting to know about the accounting information. For them, so the main intention of accounting will be fulfilled only when the need of the user is been fulfilled. That is, need of the accounting users will be fulfilled, so that the accounting information has to be communicated to the users. So many users need the financial information in order to make the important decisions. So there are number of users who will be waiting in order to know the financial result because they want to take the decisions. Suppose if you take about a shareholder, so who have invested in a business organization, of course he wants to know about the financial position because he has invested amount in the organization, and definitely he has to know about it, because whether he has to continue the investment or whether he has to withdraw, or whether he has to withdraw the investment or not. For that reason, there are number of users who will be waiting for accounting information. So these users can be divided into two broad categories. They are internal users and external users. Now let us see who are the internal users and external users. Now coming to the internal users. Now what do you mean by internal users? The users of accounting information, that is the users, that is the person who want to know about the accounting information inside the organization. So internal means what? Internal means inside. So the individuals or the users who are inside the organization, who are eagerly waiting to know about the financial information, are known as internal users. So these are the best examples for internal users. So they may be chief executive, financial officer, vice president of the organization, business unit managers, plant managers, store managers, line supervisors, and even the employees of an organization. So these are all internal users. Now coming to the external users. So it is just opposite to internal users. So external users are those users of accounting information who are outside the organization. So they are termed as what? External users. Now if you see the examples here, it may be present as well as a potential investors. It's nothing but the shareholders. Next, creditors. So the organization might have borrowed some money from the bank or the financial institution. So they also wanted to know about the financial result, because whether the organization is able to repay their loan or not. So for that reason, even they also would be waiting. That is bank and other financial institution, and debenture holders and other lenders. Tax authorities also wanted to know. Next, regulatory agency, that is Department of Company Affairs as well as Registrar of Companies. Securities Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI. Labor unions, trade associations, stock exchange, and customers. Even the customer also wanted to know about the accounting information. So these are the users who are outside the organization, but still they wanted to know the accounting information. Now coming to the next concept, that is branches of accounting. So here accounting is not only confined to the financial accounting, so there are number of branches. So there are number of branches which are included in the accounting. So let us see what are those branches. Now coming to the first one, financial accounting. So here we are going to learn. So in this subject we are going to learn about the financial accounting. So before that, let us see what are other branches of accounting. Okay, so financial accounting. So as we all know, so what is this financial accounting? Where we will record the transaction, we will analyze the transaction, we will summarize the transaction, and we will interpret the transaction. Later on, we'll communicate the business information, that is accounting information, to the respective users. That is financial accounting. So how we are going to present a financial statement? In the form of trading profit and loss account as well as balance sheet, where we'll come to know the net profit or net loss of an organization and financial position of the business. So let us see what is this financial accounting here. The main purpose of this branch of accounting is to record the business transactions. Of course, we will record only the business transactions in a systematic manner. So, our recording starts, or our accounting starts with recording of transaction. In what manner? In a systematic manner or in a chronological order. To ascertain the profit or loss of the accounting period by preparing profit and loss account, and to present the financial position by preparing the balance sheet. Of course, so after doing everything, we are going to present a financial statement in the form of trading profit and loss account as well as balance sheet. So this branch of accounting provides information required by the management and various other interested parties. So why we have to do this financial accounting? Because we want to know the exact financial position of the business, thereby important decisions can be taken in the organization. So this is about the first branch, financial accounting. Now coming to the cost accounting. So this you will learn in your next year, that is cost accounting. So here it does not include any of the aspects relating to financial accounting, but here under cost accounting we are going to ascertain what is the cost which is involved to manufacture a particular product, which cannot be ascertained in financial accounting. In financial accounting, all the historical records will be there and we are going to prepare the financial statement. But in cost accounting, the main purpose of cost accounting is to ascertain the total cost and per unit cost of goods produced and services rendered by the business. So in cost accounting, we wanted to know what is the total cost incurred in order to manufacture a particular product and what is the cost per unit of a particular product. So it is a manufacturing process where we are going to ascertain the cost of a particular product. So it also estimates the cost in advance and helps the management in exercising strict control over the cost. So through cost accounting, we will come to know what is the cost incurred to manufacture a particular product. At the same time, it helps to minimize the cost and maximize the profit. So that is about cost accounting. Next one is management accounting. So here the word itself tells that in order to take some management decisions, so this management accounting is being used. So the main purpose of management accounting is to present the accounting information in such a way as to assist the management. So it helps the management in planning and controlling the operations of the business. So in order to take a proper management decisions, so financial information will be provided to the management, thereby the management is going to plan. So what are the activities to be conducted? So a proper management decisions can be taken through management accounting. The management accountant use various techniques and concepts to make the accounting data more useful for the managerial decision making. So thereby they are going to take a proper managerial decisions. So based on the accounting information, they are going to analyze and they are going to take into consideration or proper decisions can be taken here. So these techniques include ratio analysis, budgetary control, fund flow statement, cash flow statement, etc. So these are all done under management accounting. The main purpose is to take a right decisions in the management. Next one is tax accounting. So as the word itself says that it is relating to the tax. So the branch of accounting which is used for tax purpose. So it is used for what? It is used for tax purpose is called as tax accounting. So income tax and sales tax are computed on the basis of accounting. So based on the accounting information, so how it is useful for the tax purpose, that is known as tax accounting. And the next one is social responsibility accounting. So this is very important in terms of the organization. So how the organization is related to the social responsibility. It's not just that, of course, the organization in order to manufacture a particular product. So it takes all the resource from the society itself. Then what is it returning back to the society? What is it giving back to the society? So that is known as, or how socially responsible it is. That is studied under social responsibility accounting. The society provides the infrastructure. Of course, it provides the infrastructure and all the other facilities to the business to operate its activity. Correct? So whenever the business organization wants to operate its activity, that is business activity, so it has to depend on the society. Hence the business also has a responsibility to the society. So thereby it has to be responsible to the society. So what the business organization is giving back to the society. So there is a growing demand for reports on activities which reflects the contribution of the enterprise to the society. So thereby, so if the organization wants to sustain in the market for a longer period of time, 100% it has to be socially responsible to the society. So social responsibility accounting is a process of identifying, measuring, and communicating the contribution of the business to the society. So what the business is going to contribute, how socially responsible the business is towards the society. The contribution of the business to the society consists of providing employment to the underprivileged. So these are the examples for social responsibility accounting. So how responsible the business is towards the society. So it can provide employment to the underprivileged, providing financial as well as manpower support for public programs, environmental contribution, product safety, product durability, consumer satisfaction, and even providing quality products at reasonable price. So all these are included in the social responsibility accounting. So in social responsibility accounting, techniques have been developed for measuring the cost of these contribution and its benefit to the society. So what you have to remember here, under social responsibility accounting, how responsible the business organization is towards the society. So of course it takes all the resource from the society, then it has to give something back to the society, that is known as social responsibility accounting. So these are all branches of accounting. So in my next session we shall continue with the new concept, that is qualitative characteristics of accounting information. That is, what are the qualities of an accounting information? Of course, I have told you the accounting information has to be communicated to the respective users. It may be internal or external. So what are the qualities that has to be there for the accounting information? Next, basic terms in accounting. So what are the basic terms that are used in accounting? So already you have discussed in your PUC. So let us recall those basic terms in accounting. So my dear students, hope you have understood today's session. See you all in my next session with a new topic. Till then, take care. Thank you.